Hello there. I honestly wanted to make a video like this probably about 1,000 to 1,500 subs ago, but there was so much stuff happening, and that was only technically about a week ago because things have been moving so quickly. So I figured there was no time like the present. Before we answer any questions though, I think it's most important to thank every single one of you to subscribing to the YouTube channel, to joining the Discord. It's been so rewarding, so exciting to see God use this little idea that we've been working on for a couple years now in kind of like the very perfect time. As awful as the situation has been kind of throughout the world, I'm watching the church, the Big C church, work together in a way that I think is unprecedented to an extent. We're not talking about theology and biblical interpretation differences. We're all just trying to figure out how to get online really fast. And as simple as that is, that's super exciting. A couple of hours ago, I asked for questions about literally anything on our Discord and social media platforms. Blackbar related, technical questions, strategy questions. We're open books here. We got some really good ones, and we're going to run through them together. The first two questions are from one Mr. Jason Kelly on our Discord. The first one, what's your sign? According to this Google, I am apparently a Taurus, though I've never checked nor cared up until this point. Much more relevant and interesting, I think, I'm a 3-wing 4 and an INTJ. The second question Jason asked is, what is your favorite jelly bean? The only correct answer to that question is buttered popcorn. Next question, Alan K. from Discord. Why did you name your channel Blackbar? You know how when the government releases like classified documents that have been buried for years to the public, but they redact like super specific important lines and they put a big black bar over it? That's kind of what we're referencing here. There's a lot of churches that are willing to share some of the secrets to how to do church media, social media, online stuff, tech, whatever. But they tend to hold on to some of the secrets, some of the bits that set them apart. Or they will charge you for those. And while I get it and I understand the business model, I'm not a fan of that idea. Blackbar is and will always be first and foremost a ministry. We will not ever be creating video content or podcast content or anything like that that you have to pay for. I am about helping the church for free because most of the churches that we're trying to help can't afford content like this. So the name Blackbar is a reference to kind of giving you all access to all of the secrets of church media. We're uncovering the secrets of church media marketing. No redactions allowed. Alex Lyons asking the important questions out here. What is the best retro video game and how can I get more followers on Twitch? I don't know if I'm going to be able to help you with the getting more followers on Twitch question necessarily. It probably depends on where you draw the line on what's a retro game or not. But for me personally, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is my all-time go-to classic from when I was a kid. Erica Gucciardo, I'm hoping I'm getting that name right, from Discord asks, why is this app called Discord? Discord doesn't sound very biblical. I agree with you. We didn't name it. So I'm not sure exactly why it's called Discord. However, I can go into why we picked Discord. If you're watching this channel, you're probably aware of plenty of other Facebook groups that already exist online for church media and marketing and tech and all that kind of thing. And while those are awesome resources, and I don't want to discount any of them, I know that that's not personally my favorite way of communicating online. I like a much more synchronous form of communication, which basically means more live, more update, less email, more instant messaging. Discord lets us do that. Discord also allows us to organize different topics of conversation into different channels, allowing for less confusion and the ability for new users to go and search back into the archive to see if their question's already been answered. Plus, it allows for really quick video and audio calling and sharing screen and sharing files. It's just all around, I much prefer it. And about 500 other people seem to agree, so I think we made the right choice there. Poyo24 from our Discord asks, how was your journey from start to present? Mistakes you've made along the way and greatly learned from. Advice for those that are new into photography, audio, and media in general. This could probably be an entire video in and of itself, but I'll try to do my best to condense it. I've been a church rat since I could walk. My parents were the children's ministers at my church when I was in children's ministry, and I was the one running the slides during worship. When I was 12 or 13 years old, I started getting into Photoshop, mostly to edit my own Pokemon sprites and mash them up in different ways. I followed a bunch of tutorials, figured it out, fell in love with the program, and then my youth pastor found out that I was into it. He gave me the opportunity to use that dumb little talent I had picked up to make my youth group's t-shirts and sermon slides and posts on Facebook and logo and all that stuff. And all of a sudden there was this click in my head where I realized that that dumb little talent I had was a ministry tool. It was at that point I pretty much devoted my entire life to church media. I went to college specifically to study digital media at a Christian college. I worked in the marketing department there. I served at the church I attended there. Eventually, now I have a job as the multimedia marketing director at Grand Rapids First, church up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. This stuff is honestly my bread and butter. If I didn't get paid for it, I would still do it. I love figuring out ways of how to use these digital media tools for spreading the gospel. It's so exciting to me to see how that new form of evangelism can take place. I would say in regards to the second part of the question, mistakes I've made along the way, being too focused on getting paid for what I do. I think in the media world in general, not just the church media world, we kind of have this hyper-focused idea on avoiding getting ripped off, on making something just for exposure or just for an opportunity or whatever. And there absolutely are people willing and ready to take advantage of church media people, of any people wanting to create stuff. You do need to protect yourself in that case, but don't forget the love of just making stuff for your close friends, for your church, for your ministry, whatever. I've had more opportunities, networking, connections happen from the free work I've done for people than anything I ever charged for. Sometimes the value in a project is way more than the amount of money you're going to make at the end. And advice for those who are new in photography, audio, and media in general. I know something that was offered to me advice back as a freshman in college by my professor, Dan DeRogers. Make digital media your life, and the rest will fall into place. Make it your hobby that you love to do. Make it your job. Make it what you read about, what you watch about. Constantly be consuming and learning how to get better. Make it everything that you want to do from when you wake up till you fall asleep. And that love of the craft will bring you the resources, will bring you the opportunities that are necessary in order to be successful in the field. I know a lot of people that got into digital media because they liked computers or video games or whatever, and they figured they can make out a career out of it. But the people who succeeded were the people who loved it. The people who did it when they went home. They did it when they were at work. The people who wanted to do it just because they loved doing it. Make it a core part of who you are, and I promise you, you'll succeed. The next question of one Mr. Abner Cruz. Why focus on church media? You all ready for a story? Oh. We adopted a puppy this week. This is Nanook. Okay. So back when we were in college, me, Nick, and Zach were part of a ministry of which will remain nameless that focused on using art in different ways to do ministry itself. Obviously, musicians and singers and painters, artists, all sorts of kind, and finding ways to worship and engage people in ministry as we went. When Zach and I brought to the ministry leader at the time the idea of using digital techniques in this ministry, photography, graphic design, that sort of thing, we were given an answer that didn't quite sit well with us. We were told that the gifts that we had were for advertising ministry, not for ministry itself. And I understand where he was coming from, and I don't think it was malicious in any way, but that was a hit to the gut that spurned on, I think, a decade-long quest to find out, what does a digital media ministry look like? Like, not just an advertisement for ministry, but that media itself was at the core of what that ministry was. I think Blackbar is sort of the culmination of what really became our idea of digital ministry. A digital ministry is a ministry for media people. It's a way to help church media people make better media, make media that's going to help change people's lives. It's going to reach people with the gospel. That's what we want to do. And I think that's why church media. Time to go now. Oh, Daddy's got to shoot a video. Covered in fur. Last question we're going to cover today, also from Erica Gugiardo. What's your vision for this work/ministry? Will you continue to be here after this lockdown social distancing period? The short answer to that question is yes, of course. Blackbar was here well before everything with the quarantine happened. It will be here way after it as well. This ministry is well and truly years in the making and the thinking of the dreaming, and I really hope to make it, I know and I know Nick and Zach's life's work. I know for myself, this is what I feel called to for my life. This is what I know I'm supposed to be doing for the rest of my life. So yes, it will always be here well after the quarantine, and it will always be free and available online. I wanted to give a quick shout out due to the huge influx of people coming into our Discord, asking questions, desperately trying to figure out how to get their churches online in this situation that we're in. If it were just up to me or Nick or Zach answering all these questions, we would have been incredibly overwhelmed in a day. But a group of people stepped up and started answering questions in our stead and have made the Discord successful and made it what it is. And dozens of churches are online streaming right now because of it. So this group of people right here, I'll put their names. There are certified pros on the Discord, and we couldn't be more thankful and more in debt to them. Give them a round of applause. If you haven't yet, I would super highly suggest checking out the Blackbar podcast. Just like the videos, we release one every single week. We go more in depth into the videos. We share our own experiences. We bring on guests. This last week, it's actually a recording of a webinar we did with over 100 churches trying to figure out how to get them set up online. There's a bunch of really good, exciting content in there, and I want everybody to be able to listen to it. Of course, if you haven't yet joined the Discord, I'm in there basically all of the time, including our certified pros and Nick and Zach, helping churches, just hanging out, sometimes just talking about whatever. It has been a life-giving experience to have that community. You know, it wasn't even a year ago now where I was in a very different place. I was struggling with my faith on a very deep, a very fundamental level, and I was wrestling with the ideas of even sticking around in the faith in Christianity or anything like that. But the one thing that kind of held me in place, that held me back, was this vision, this idea of this digital ministry, of what Blackbar was. And it's so exciting now to see on this side of the testimony that God is now using that and blessing it and helping the church body improve and use these new tools. And it's growing at a rate that I couldn't have ever anticipated or expected. And I am nothing but thankful to all of you. And of course, to the God who never gave up on me. If you haven't yet, make sure to like and subscribe. And we will see you all next week.